Hi, Dr. Eric. You are muted. Would you please unmute yourself?
Okay, yep. Good, how are you?
I'm okay.
Wonderful.
Have you with us today.
Thank you.
What is
Are we in good time?
What is the time at your place?
Nearly 10 o'clock.
Okay. Sorry to keep you awake for this late time.
Okay, but hopefully not later than this. Yes.
Okay.
Can I try share screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me see. Screen. Just try this video.
Modern society has gone through three.
Okay. Right, that looks okay. Good.
Yes.
Thank you. And let me stop sharing. Okay, so we're good to go. I'll wait for your opening.
Okay, very good.
Okay, no problem.
I think we should start now. Okay. So I would like to welcome everyone, and we expect more people to join. It's our third digital transformation conference. Each time we have different guests, and this time it's a very special day for us because we have very famous speakers like our keynote speaker, Dr. Eric. We have Jesse, we have Natalie, and we have Jennifer. Today is a very special day because it has been so many things happen, so many changes. And in the beginning, I would like to ask everyone just to write quick in the comment where you are from, where you are joining us from. Would you please write your country? That would be interesting in the comments. Okay. People from Egypt. Okay. Lebanon, Hong Kong, Egypt. Okay. Syria. Any other countries would like to share? Serbia. Okay. Welcome. Thank you for sharing this. Okay, so Egypt. Okay, that's good. Pakistan. Welcome. Egypt, Germany. UAE. Okay, welcome. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us. If it's a morning for you, so it's good morning. If it's afternoon, it's good afternoon. If it's late in the evening, so good evening to everyone. So quickly, I will have just a quick welcome and intro to everyone. We have our keynote speaker, Dr. Eric. He will talk to us about innovation and how we can have knowledge-driven industry 4.0 world. Then we will have Natalie. Natalie will talk to us about business execution systems and process excellence, using digital transformation for that. We will have Jesse. Jesse will talk to us about how we keep our digital transformation visible and effective. Okay. And we will have at the end Jennifer. Jennifer is a coach and she's helping many companies to transform. So she will talk about a very important topic. It's about people. Okay. Because this is change time. So how we can accelerate and how we can make use of our people. Okay. So let's move on quickly. Dr. Eric will introduce himself, but I say quickly, I learned from him a lot about Industry 4.0. I took his edX course, and that was a fantastic course 2 years ago. For me, it was a learning course. I learned a lot from this course. And Dr. Eric will give us a brief about himself. So we will have as well, every keynote speaker today, or every speaker is important to join with us and share about something important. Natalie, she comes from a famous organization called Celonis. She will tell us something about process mining, process discovery, process excellence. We move to Jesse. Jesse will help us as well with learning journey, because he has been applying many successful stories about digital transformation, working with different sizes of organizations. And at the end, we will end with Jennifer. Okay? So that's it. We will have for each speech his presentation or her presentation. We will have after each speech like 10 minutes for questions, because not everyone will be able to continue with us till the end. So it's important that we support each other. Okay? So we start now by Dr. Eric. Please, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen, and we'll be off in no time. All right, so before I go any further, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. So again, just to, to people care about the quality of transmission, and I'm from Hong Kong. I'm led to believe that the Hong Kong infrastructure is quite strong. So, but anyway, give me some feedback whether the video and especially the audio is coming through with clarity, and whether I'm speaking at the right pace with the with an appropriate accent, I suppose.
Yes, fantastic. 3, yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I think you have got a copy of my CV in front of you, so needs no further explanation. But just very briefly, I'm Australian and born in Hong Kong, and I spent about half of my career in industry, actually working for the then Computer Sciences Corporation, which is DXT Technologies today in Australia. And I joined the Hong Kong Polytechnic University back in 2005. So just approximately half of my career is in industry and half of my career is in academia. And I've been always interested in with a passion in blended learning, and also with a passion to to bridge the two extremes of business and technologies. Now, today's talk. I just want to, highlight the opportunities, and in fact, some firms have already moved into exploiting these opportunities. Opportunities open up by, the age of digitalization, open up by we are moving into a knowledge-based and also sharing economy, and also opportunities open up by the new business model, as well as the, the advancement of technologies powering the fourth industrial revolution. Just sounds like a lot of things happening, but if I can convince you, we can try to take it down in a fairly simplified approach, and then we can see where the opportunities are for everybody, and for every organization, for every society. Well, it's always difficult to find a starting point or entry point to this kind of presentations, but anyway, I tried with this one, and let's see how we go. Hopefully this is something that everyone resonates, and we're on the same page. And that is the traditional way, that organizations generate value. And if you agree with me, then I suppose the traditional way is to sense the market, understand or try to ascertain where the opportunities are, and then build up your capabilities as a firm, as an organization, so that you can produce the necessary products, services, or combination, and ultimately you can locate the customers, potential customers. Hopefully, customers to enjoy the product and the services that you provide, and ultimately they pay. And this is how the value is being siphoned back into the organization, and you can do more. Now, of course, that's a highly simplified view of how businesses function. Behind the scene, everybody knows. You know a lot more than I do. Having run organizations by yourself and by your partners, that there's a lot to coordinate. Resources, competencies, and management structure, procurement, supply chain, a lot of things. So you have to put all this in order to have a chance of success and successful and lead. Now, three basic value disciplines that we are all too familiar with, and typically, if we make it simple, the three things are, firstly, operational excellence. That's, judging on how economical you can produce your things, how reliable you can produce your things, how fast you can produce them, and, are they repeatable at the same quality? Second one is product and service leadership, and that is, your good knowledge about the market, your good knowledge about how to, maintain and even improve the quality of the product and the services that you're providing, and stay tuned with what the market needs, and as well as fending off competitors. Third one is customer intimacy. Now, to be perfect, we would be talking about individual customers. How can you custom design and custom provide your product and services so that each and every customer is happy? Of course, this is it's almost a formidable goal, and it's almost unachievable. However, be that as it may, that's basically the three value disciplines. And I think you would also agree, so far, I would say that I don't think there's any organization who score perfect on all three dimensions. An organization would be hugely successful if you can score very high score, very good to excellent in two of these, 2 to 3, or 2 of these, not 3. Well, and I'm from East Asia, and I would say that my observations, especially with Southeast Asia, is success with many countries in Southeast Asia. That includes China. Of course, it's very much through operational efficiency up to the third industrial revolution. That is, producing things fast, economically, and high productivity, reliable, and churn out in large volume. That has, advantages and disadvantages. However, we are now moving into the fourth industrial revolution, and I'd just like to spend 2.5 minutes replaying this video so that we can further discuss about where the opportunities and what are the emerging, things that are coming out as a result of this onset of the fourth industrial revolution. So here we go.
Modern society has gone through 3 major eras of industrial revolution. Driven by the invention of steam and water power, the first industrial revolution took place in the early 19th century. However, work in all industries was still highly labor-intensive. The wide application of electrical technology hailed the second industrial revolution in the late 19th century, when manufacturing plants were built, laying out the infrastructure and processes for the mass production of products. Digitalization in the 20th century gave birth to the third industrial revolution. Computational and data analysis technologies ensured consistent and efficient operation of processes. And machines could acquire a very basic form of intelligence to support decision-making. With the advancement of big data, cloud computing, data collection and transmission devices, software, and increasingly connected societies, we have stepped into the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, and it is symbolized by the real-time smartness exhibited by machines. So what exactly is the fourth industrial revolution? What's it like living in a world of the Internet of Things? Just how smart can machines be? Will robots take over our jobs? How can organizations and individuals be best prepared for the onset of this disruptive force? This online course covers these fascinating topics and more. It is truly an eye-opener into smart products and services for future living. In a factory, such smartness can be manifested as the intelligent diversion and automation of processes, cyber-physical systems for enhanced modeling to support product design, and operations planning. A smart product can even predict its own potential breakdown, and thus alert the user to carry out preventative maintenance to avoid unexpected breakdowns. Massive personalization of products and services is now very real. Our cities are becoming more and more connected and smarter. The division of work between machines and humans is constantly becoming blurred and is being redefined. We can see this happening in the manufacturing, transportation, healthcare, logistics, and many other industries. Welcome to the world of Industry 4.0.
Well, indeed, welcome to the world of Industry 4.0. If you agree with me, I think the things that stand out or stood out very obviously that drive the success of Industry 4.0 is data. The data, and they are coming in all sorts of directions. They are coming in the sources where we have never experienced it before. That's a hugely exciting point that I'm fascinated about. They're coming from multiple sources. They're coming from areas that we have never had before. So we have a lot more data to analyze. Of course, we need much more powerful platforms to hold on to this data, and we need more intelligent algorithms to guide our analysis so that we can make sense out of them and be able to come up with good predictions and other sorts of deductions. More on that later. So it is very obvious to all of us that in this age of digitalization, data is a key element, a new asset that we have all have to leverage on. And in fact, to give you some statistics about connections, people having a mobile phone, they be able to connect people with people and more. In a world with total population of 775 billion people, unique mobile users have 5.19, so it's about 70-80% already. There are among them 4.5 billion internet users, and active social media users are 3.8. So it's a huge volume of nodes that are reachable on the internet via mobile phones. Industry 4.0 to me actually, creates the tipping point for us to explore connections within our organizations. More importantly, connections external to our organization, connections in the rest of the world, connections with other people, connections with other data, connections among people, and connections linking people with information and more. I'm not going to read these statistics. You can find them from World Economic Forum, from the other research firms, but they are repeating the same emphasis. There's an awful amount of data coming through, and we are foolish not to able to or not trying to think about and action on how to actually leverage on this data. So in the age of characterization, the massive volume of data coming through, the traffic, the volume of this data, it's coming through in a fearful and awesome way. In fact, Moore's law that traditionally applies to the upgrading of hardware and also lowering the cost also apply to the explosion of data now. And that means in a mere 2.5 years, the volume of data information is being doubled. The world is increasingly connected. People, machines, networks, data, and more. And, more and more tools are available, typically on the cloud platform. I'll talk about that more. So again, we have to make use of all this to truly think about in a serious way. How can we make use of these data, connections, and the opportunity that create by them to create new business models, as well as to come up with more innovative products and or services. Well, Industry 4.0, people are, typically talking about the technologies in there. Of course, technology is one part of it, but I think the real excitement is not just the technology. In fact, it's more the business acumen of how to put these technologies into appropriate business models that actually translate to new value creation that we have never seen before. These are the things that, to me, that cause a lot of excitement, right, for the onset of Industry 4.0. Firstly, sensors are becoming small and smaller, and they are coming down in cost. So therefore, sensors can be embedded into products, into parts of products, into miniature devices, and yet they are also equally able to transmit the data into a central place for processing or into an edge of the network for further processing. There's no doubt, with all these sensors, a lot more data is being generated. As I said earlier, it's really up to us to design algorithms to make use of this data and to appropriately analyze them so that we can get the most out of it in the fastest possible time. In many cases, this is real time. Of course, some data can be analyzed in the back or in the batch mode, but the real-time analysis, it's a lot to do with success and generating new values. Connectivity, the integration, interoperability of systems and data is becoming very real and is advancing very quickly, thanks to the standards, the frameworks, and also the cloud platforms that are emerging. I'll talk more about the cloud computing paradigms later on, not just for storing, but the cloud is in canvas for our business models. 5G networks is again doing a lot of good, especially in expanded bandwidth, in helping to hold on to the volume of data and be able to power the tools that can actually analyze all this data and help to transmit the information to the parties that need it. And one of the things that also very exciting, especially on this page, among other things, is Cyberphysical Systems, which is an advancement of cybernetics, which allows the computer systems to interact with the environment as well as take on human instructions. This, for the first time, allowed machine-to-machine communications and problem solving. So for me, I try to explain to people about what CPS, and my analogy is if you look at what's most important in a computer, then probably most people would point to the processor. So the CPS, to me, is the heart, is the soul of an Industry 4.0 application. CPS is also a concept that is that can be applied to abstraction and inheritance. So in other words, a CPS can be embedded into a product, into a part of a product, into a system, across different systems, in a factory, in a conveyor belt, in the whole plant. So, as I said, with the connectivities, with the standards and framework, CPS systems can, talk to each other, and they can also, to control, given the right programming and authority, they can also control other systems as well. That power a lot of the new automations we're seeing now. The second big excitement to me is the emergence of the digital twin, which started back in 2010, originally by NASA. And you can see here, digital twin is a physical system with a virtual system in existence together. It's not just a simulation system, because a simulation system usually is set up and there's no physical equivalent, or the physical equivalent comes later. But digital twin is the physical and the virtual systems in existence, and they can run parallel, right? And the more exciting thing is that digital twin allows the virtual system to go to extremes and then test whether the physical system can actually endure this extreme, right? And or perhaps even when you are trying to plug the values of these extreme parameters into the physical system cannot bear it and even break down. So therefore, to me, it's extremely exciting because it's about the fast forwarding into the future and push things to the limit and see what are the potential risks that the physical system may break down. It's wonderful to have this kind of setup so that fascinating and previously unimaginable experiments can be carried out. So, so a basic understanding about the digital twin, you can start thinking about all this is already reality. You have the physical system, you have the digital twin virtual system running, in the cyberspace, and you can control it. You can link it up to any other systems. You can connect additional data, and you can feed or cross-compare the performance of the digital twin, physical and virtual system at any time and make a necessary adjustment to any one of those systems or to both of those systems. So need I say more, with digital twin, we can carry out a lot more experiments, especially experiments that are elaborate, costly, dangerous, or not feasible to be carried out in a physical way, right? So that we can test out the physical systems in extreme conditions before, once in the blue moon, then it kicks into the physical system. Digital twin has tried to find itself with major applications in all these industries. Obviously, today is not the theme of this particular talk, but anyway, I just want to point out that overall speaking, my understanding leads me to believe that most of the DT applications are helping with design, product design, process design improvement, as well as process operations, right? And a very meaningful use and purposeful use of digital twin application is to do prognosis, diagnosis of the physical system. Of course, after that, once you got the diagnosis, you have to see whether the physical system is working as per we expected, And if not, then the engineers would have to think about how to improve it or how to adjust it so that you can reduce the risk that you may be exposed to. And to me, the two most fascinating function of the digital twin is being able to do what-if scenarios, and not only simulating now, but the what-if can be feedback, as I said earlier, to the physical system to see actually, what will happen or what may happen. Right? So this really put predictive planning and maintenance for a lot of equipment into distinctive reality, and it reduces the occurrence of unexpected risk in a significant way. Okay, so I think so far, hopefully you are on the same page as I do, and you would share that. So what are the major excitement that is being brought by Industry 4.0? Definitely, by far the most to me is the emergence of data. Data that we are getting from multiple sources, that from sources that we never imagined ever before, and the opportunity to interact with this data, analyze this data, and make necessary, the manipulations or decisions, whatever that is. Of course, in order to make all those analysis and decisions, we need algorithms. So a lot of the AI algorithms fulfill this role. Even the classical algorithms, of course, more and more powerful algorithms will come. But even existing, the classical algorithms, if being scaled up, they can do a lot of this analysis. Integration, framework for integration and standards also help a lot, because that provides the reality to connect systems and data together so that they can be, they can be mixed, they can be assessed, and they can be analyzed. Automation, it's another big advantage of Industry 4.0, because with the algorithms, if calibrated properly, then the low risk decision making can be automated. Of course, we can look at the exceptions and so forth, but there's a lot of automation that seemingly there's no major problem. So therefore, we can automate those and deal with any irregularities or major irregularities separately. And all these are happening in real time. So it's wonderful. So I suppose we are all overwhelmed by all these exciting things that happen as a result of digitalization and Industry 4.0. New data coming from various places, so we can monitor things more closely. And one of the places is in a manufacturing plant. So anything to start to go wrong, we can intercept it at an early possible instance, so that we can prevent further wastage of effort further down the track. In the manufacturing environment, definitely we can, through integration, not only analyze the performance of individual steps and parts, but we can also communicate to processes as well as equipment further down the line as to what's coming through, and make necessary adjustments and decisions. For logistics, and that translates into a lot of benefits as well, not just in stock taking, but also in maintaining, the stocks, the readiness of the stock, if it is raw materials or not raw materials, fruits, like the degradable materials. That is a major plus, because especially with transportation and also in the warehouse, sensors with Internet of Things can do a lot of good in helping to monitor, preserve, and also make corrective actions if any of the things that may be perishable start to go wrong. Processes is also another great opportunity to make inroads into reaping these benefits. Why? Because I suppose we are part to blame. Firstly, the processes are everywhere where we're not part to blame because of this, but we are part to blame, especially for process managers in organizations, in manufacturing organizations. The writing is on the wall. I'm very surprised that, in fact, more than half of the manufacturing managers in factories, they are at a loss about the true performance of the processes, not being measured, or don't have a concept about continuous improvement. So therefore, with such a poor baseline, if this is statistics truly reflecting on a worldwide scale, then there's enormous room for improvement. starting with process improvement through the use of Internet of Things and industrial Internet of Things, sensors, and appropriate algorithms. Here's another good example to illustrate. Imagine that we have got sensors deployed on the highway, on the roads, or in car tires. Well, then you can imagine that multiple parties can benefit: the traffic authority, the truck drivers, the fleet operators, and more. They can all benefit because these sensors would collect data about the wear and tear of the tires. They can be also analyzed across the path that the vehicles have traveled. They surely can be analyzed across the batch of tires, the models, the wear and tear across the same age group of tires. And therefore, for any organizations that are running a major fleet or significant fleet of trucks and vehicles, then there's a lot to gain and also help to reduce the risk of any potential breakdown. Imagine we can also apply this to the aviation industry. You can save a lot of lives and reduce a lot of risk. All right, so the smart cities, smart homes are also part and parcel of the gain that's being delivered by the sensors embedded in the household devices. So I'm not going to mention this. Oh, I didn't know that. So interesting animations in there. All right, so Industry 4.0 has been around for at least the good part of 5, 6, 7 years. If not more. But I'm saying that, I've had an observation that I'd like to share with you. And I believe, well, I reckon that based on what I've read, most of the applications that are leveraging on Industry 4.0, they do not go far enough. Most of the applications, they are merely trying to fulfill the 3 value disciplines that I've mentioned, at the beginning of the talk, which are operational excellence, product service leadership, and customer intimacy. Well, and of course, everybody knows these are the value chain in the old economy, right? Today, in the 21st century, with digitalization, with more and more dots to be connected and easier to be connected, there are newer opportunities and newer ways of doing things that we should be adopting. This is another way to whet your appetite and enable you to think in the futuristic way and direction. And that is, the operational excellence paradigm. Those still very important, but I think they become less important for humans. Why? Because robots and robotic automations are picking up this area, right? So for firms that are merely or blindly, continuing with operational excellence, and this is unfortunately a mistake and a key message for many Asian leaders, that is not going to be a survival strategy into the future, because we can never, no matter how cheap our labor cost is, we can never be more reliable and more achieving than using robots. Therefore, with regard to the other opportunities or the characteristics that I put on this page, we have to look for or create newfound values. As I said earlier, in the 21st century, a lot is to connect the dots, because things are so well represented. Almost everything have an internet address. So many people have mobile phones. We can connect with people, or we can try to connect with people, and lots of things are available on the internet with an address. So therefore, a lot of thought has to go into how to connect beyond our existing network, beyond our own organization. I think this will quickly convince you, in the external networks out there, waiting to be connected, or some people already connecting them. There are lots and lots of people. There are trusted networks. There are data. There are information. There are computational resources, right? So with appropriate connections and with trust cementing these connections, we can expand capabilities of our firm. We can expand capabilities of ourselves, of our group, and be able to create opportunities and pursue new opportunities. So make no mistake, the perfect storm is coming, and we need new paradigm. That new paradigm is, I don't think is, the revolutionary new, and then everyone has, is aware of this already. Now we have to be shifting from the third industrial revolution, which is based on internal competition and efficiency, to, the network building, integration, collaboration, and learning. Okay. So many firms are embarking on digital transformation, and they are trying to, to transform their business. And I would say that, merely digitalization is not going to be a game changer, right? Because digitalization alone can be easily copied, can be easily replicated. Even knowledge, for codified knowledge, that means that they are already externalized and captured as documents. They can be easily captured, they can be easily copied and replicated. So they do not actually erase the value creation. However, people behind the networks, people who contribute tacit knowledge, right, uncodified knowledge, people's collaboration that generates intelligence, wisdom, ideas, and innovations, together with technology and digitalization, spell the key to success. So if you allow me, this is what I have highlighted. I think we should pay more attention to a newfound resource, which is data. From data, we can derive with appropriate algorithms and business input by people with experience, new knowledge, and this knowledge can be operationalized for new gains. And the cloud on the right-hand side, cloud computing, it's a great asset because the cloud provides the integration, provides the accumulation of the data, provides a place for this data to be stored, to be analyzed, and also for services to be created. The cloud is also the canvas for us to create business model, locate context, and connect the dots. So success in the knowledge-driven industry 4.0 is very much with people, knowledge, and the cloud. So don't think about the cloud. It's it's just storing things in a massive repository. It is, but it's a lot more. I will take you through a simple reframing of the cloud. Of course, like any system, a cloud, if it is purely just an IT infrastructure with software and hardware, and if there's lack of people using the applications in there, you're hardly a cloud. It's hardly a successful system. We don't spend time talking about and maintaining those systems at all. So for any cloud that is that is scaled up to a larger number of people and there's high adoption, then definitely, especially for social cloud, it has attracted a lot of people. So in other words, these people, they have to create accounts on the software that is stored inside the clouds. So by doing that, there's already a connection between people and the cloud. But of course, the people also create their own networks. So in the cloud, there are people to people networks with trust. There are also people to information network. And these happening at a global scale. And the fundamental characteristics of the cloud is, it also stores a lot of data, information. And there are software in it as well. So together, I call this the knowledge cloud, which is typically the digital canvas for business model. So for those of you who are familiar with Austin Walters, 9 dimensions of the business model, all of these things can be represented and have been represented in the cloud. Through the cloud, through tools in the cloud, we can adjust firm boundaries. We can find new suppliers. We can procure items. We can find other people, build up trust, e-trust, and be able to expand the firm's capabilities. We can, from all these things, create new opportunities and define new business models. It's hugely exciting. Well, that's still not entirely new. Some firms, successful firms in the last 5 to 10 years have already exploited it. In America, there's about 6,000 firms who have been leveraging the cloud to provide all sorts of innovative services. So, typically, if their usage of the cloud is the way, is showing the way, then they are leveraging on the creation and exchange of information through the networks in a massive scale. So they are leveraging on the network effect, and they provide a platform. That's one of the strategies. A major strategy is to create a platform where you attract the buyers and also the sellers, right? If you're providing some kind of products and services, so that you can capture a lot of information through the activities, not necessarily all transaction, through the activities, and be able to make use of this information to generate all sorts of gain, And so, in almost all industries, these kind of platforms have emerged to a varying degree of success. And education for us is no different. In the beginning, the MC Sheeran talked about the Industry 4.0 course that I offer. That is on edX, so that is massive open online course, and it's a revolutionary impact to academia based on a platform that power these online courses. I'm not sure whether Uber is in your country, but I think you know what I mean. Uber is also leveraging on the networks to harness a group of drivers and be able to use sharing resources with credibility rating by customers, so that to convey or try to convey a sense of trust to consumers about the reliability of the service. And the payment method is also very innovative. Unlike a taxi where they go by meter, typically they also based on the fixed cost model, which can be attractive to some people as well. I'm not going to talk detail about this, but you're encouraged to check out this website, Fiverr. It's one of the 6,000 sites that I mentioned earlier in America, or which provide microservices. They harness armies of people just about in any area that you can think of, and these people have their performance rating by the past customers, and you can also sample their work before you engage them. And the wonderful thing about providing cloud services is that you don't have to pay unless you are satisfied with it. So, if that's a glimpse of the future, then we should position ourselves to think and act in this way. To imagine that you are the center of the universe. On the bottom right, on the bottom left here, that's your organization or yourself, and there's a lot of network out there, and they are being powered by different cloud. So we have to make use of the cloud to build services, and we have to accept the fact that in the cloud, or in the various clouds, there are people, there are information, there are data, there are documents, and there are computational resources we should be leveraging. So when you start thinking about that and take action and do a bit more investigation, you will find that, in fact, it's already a reality. Many firms have already set up X as a service, building community as a service, search as a service, analytics as a service, legal service as a service, test as a service. So it's a bit like a vending machine, that you can, you can pay and select what sort of services you want, right? And you can select those services in the cloud by choosing your own provider. You can even build your own services and restrict that to yourself, restrict that to your team, restrict that to your organization, or open up for the rest of the world to access. Low-code platform, it's now becoming more and more popular. So, the programming and development of these apps are coming to the general person. You don't need an IT degree anymore in order to build your own apps. It's a wonderful, dichotomy when I compare with my PhD days, which is 35 years ago. My professor told me that, Eric, guard your data, guard your algorithms, and never disclose it until your paper has been published. Well, guess what? Nowadays, the large companies like Huawei, Tencent, Amazon, they provide, AI platforms for everyone, to create an account and start using them. Why? They are so open. Why they are so open? Because they want your data. They want to check how you develop the algorithms. They want to be the platform that that captures everything that you provided. So they want to learn from what you have been doing using the tools as well. This is our local paper, South China Morning Post, and even them have created a knowledge market for exchange of knowledge among citizens. Well, if you want to get a taste about what these access to service is like, there's a consumer level setup called IFTTT. If this then that. So you can go and sign up an account and create your own rules. For example, you can say that, hey, if the local Egyptian weather is over a certain degrees tomorrow, send me SMS and remind me to wear appropriately. Or if it's going to rain tomorrow, then send me a message and remind me to take an umbrella. Well, Industry 4.0 is not just about technology, and as I said, it's been swung into action for about a good 8 to 10 years already, and industry leaders have already expressed that not the technology. In fact, technology is not the major hurdle for massive uptake of Industry 4.0. Skills are, skills and competencies are. There's a big skill gap out there, right? Which university and research institutes are trying to fill, but not fast enough, in my view. These are business acumen and experience about how to create new business model, how to leverage on the new technologies and be able to, to create new opportunities. And also many of the skills are to do with, for example, computational intelligence, social intelligence, design thinking, collaboration, and more. And these are not, sufficiently addressed or, sufficiently trained for students who are, coming out to the market. So university and, in fact, the whole industry, our whole world need to do more in order to come up with better graduates that have more of these skills. So just a bit more about, before I finish, about what are the why these soft skills so important? Because they will help people to explore different approaches. They help people to sense about the opportunities in the market. They help people to connect, develop competencies, to build trust, especially in the internet world. People also learn about how to deal with inconsistency and also the uncertainties. So these are all very important skills that shape the successful requirements of Industry 4.0 knowledge workers. Okay, so just before I finish, allow me to just remind everybody that, like Sharon mentioned, thank you very much. We offer a course on ethics on Industry 4.0. It covers many topics in this particular exciting field, and in fact, since earlier this year, together with another course that I also offer on knowledge management and big data, then if you complete both of these courses on the edX platform, you will be a graduate with a professional certificate. Okay, I think I should pay credit to where credit is due. So many of my ideas are from reading these books and papers and also interacting with my colleagues. I'd like to thank them, and I'd like to leave here with my contact details and pass the floor back to the MC. So Sharon, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Eric, for the fantastic presentation. Is it possible for you to take some questions, please?
Yes, of course.
Yes, we have like 10 minutes. So in Q&A, would you have a look on it? Because we have 2 questions in Q&A. Okay. Your voice, you need to unmute, doctor, please.
So I'm reading the second one, which is the first question. What precautions can we take or plan to manage facing any disasters such as COVID-19 or war at certain area which affect raw materials cost availabilities? I suppose don't invest all in one basket. Decentralize your operations. I believe there are more than just America, China, and Germany setting up with Industry 4.0. There are, increasingly more countries are training up their workers and trying to set up the Industry 4.0 operations. Singapore, Philippines, and Australia are, I suppose, in line for the next emerging hubs. So I would explore some of the additional centers as well. And of course, common sense prevail. Don't try to go with a big bang approach. Try to do incrementally. So what are some of the things that will, to derive the most gain? What are your pain points? See if you can address those first.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is what's the application of digital transformation in the chemical industry and quality management activities? Well, let me address it in a general sense, right? Because I'm no expert. I have to confess, I'm no expert in the chemical industry, nor in the quality management space. But what I do know is with the additional availability of data, we can, to not only summarize and monitor the performance of various stages of a process, but we can also cross-compare with industry benchmarks, cross-compare with other similar groups about the exact performance of a part, of a process, of an individual, of a group of individuals, right? And we can also, take action electronically or physically on whatever corrective actions that we decided to do. I think that alone, it's already a lot of gains for churning out ideas for developing applications already. Because remember, the excitement is not just in the emergence of advancement of technologies and the integration. The emergence is, to me, a large part of it is because we're getting data from areas that we have never imagined before. So think about it. What can you do with this additional data, right? This additional data that you never had before. Now you have it. Does it give you more opportunities to monitor something? Does it give you more opportunities to intervene if something goes wrong? Does it give you more opportunities to create perhaps a new line of service that create new values that we have never experienced before?
Okay.
Right? Can existing traditional plants be upgraded, modified in? Well, that's I think that's a $6 million question. At the moment, if my background is from IT, and I think the IT evolution, it's a good guide. And what that means is whenever there is new developments in technologies and integration, proprietary firms will try to take the first the line of revenue by developing their own products and systems with proprietary standards. So you need to balance it, because until universal standards and frameworks exist and being adopted widely, then you may, if you want a head start, you have to go with one of the vendors' proprietary standard, and then you may get locked in because then once you purchase or adopted one of their systems, if you want more sensors, if you want more features, you have to continue to buy the same line of product from that same vendor, because that's the only way you can talk. You can make them talk to each other among your own systems. So you need to trade off between vendor lock-in and your investment. So in order to balance it a little bit better, is I would go deeper, looking at the evolution of the international standards and look at which are the firms that are actually having a strong influence, should I say, which usually would translate into their holding of key position in the International Standards Committee. So have a look at those, and that may shed light into or tipping the balance in your decision. Can you please highlight the applicable AI in the services sector? I think precisely what I just said. If you want to compare, monitor, compare, and improve services being provided by certain individuals, groups of individuals, and that would be a good place to start in terms of monitoring the process progress, and also the supposed acceptance of deliverable by customers. In the services sector, the ultimate measurement to me is the customer experience. So somehow you need to weave that into your equation. Any certificate will give us at the end. I think you are asking about the MOOC courses. Yes. Once you complete a course and you complete a professional certificate, you get a certificate for that purpose. All right. And if you are asking whether you get a certificate for this seminar, you have to ask the organizer. How important is using Industry 4.0 application for small and medium-sized enterprises? That's a great question. And how relevant and profitable for them? Is there a break, even capital or number of employees for some? That's a wonderful question. I was always thinking about it because SMEs, you're right. For most economies, SME make up more than 90% of the businesses in the market. So they are never to be forgotten. They are a viable force, despite the fact that the conglomerates and the international firms cover the sky. So my conclusion is, the SMEs would have to use cloud services. So the later part of my talk, the second part of my talk, or the last 1/3 of my talk is especially relevant. Look for cloud platforms that provide services that you can use, that you can create, and restrict that for yourself and your partners, or open up for other people to use as well. So that would be the way to go, because the cloud is the almighty that can hold all the data. The cloud uses the post-charging model, so you pay for what you have used, and all these criteria favor SMEs very, very suitably. And I even believe that for the first time with cloud services, if SME play the card right, they have as much muscles and power as large organizations. In fact, they can probably move faster. How can we start migration process for existing facilities? That is a deeper technical question, which I don't think I'm qualified to answer. However, if you contact me, I'm happy to refer you to some of my contacts who are, right in the nitty-gritty, getting the hands dirty on these things. Now, let me see. Which one's the next one? I believe with big. Here we go. Right, I believe with big data transformation, we need to adjust international laws, especially for the contract using procurement. So from your point of view, what kind of changes should be applied? And what would be for UCC? Not sure what this question. Can I come back to this one later? Okay, is there in chart for SOP PDF? Throw in. Let me answer this question together with the frameworks and standards. There are various standards coming through, but the international standards, especially ones that are, championed by the Germany and American organizations, are still relatively new. I think Germany only put up the national roadmap about 3 or 4 years ago, and other nations are still new to putting up the national roadmap. So while standards are starting to emerge at the international level, the adoption is still incremental, or I should say that it's still at an infancy stage. Put it this way, my current assessment is Industry 4.0. While the take-up has been increasingly promising, it is still at an early stage. I would say that it will take another at least 5 to 10 years to swing into action for most of the firms. In Industry 4.0, what are the returns on investment in manufacturing environment financially? Well, I suppose lower downtime and the precision products being produced and more cost effective, I suppose. And also if you can do the customization part, and that depends on a lot of other things in place, then for the first time, firms can tackle customer intimacy right down to the individual customer level. And that is extremely exciting because, as I said, out of the 3 value disciplines, although they are dated now, most successful firms can only be excellent in 2 of them. And most of them are good at operational efficiency, operational excellence, and product service leadership. Customer intimacy, even with the might of Amazon, that they can create customer segments and say that, hey, based on what you purchased, we think similar customers because they have also bought this, so you may be interested, but that's not exactly, you know, what you want, right? Because they still cannot do it right down to the individual level. So, you know, besides the speed, the lowering costs in manufacturing operations that Industry 4.0 can bring, you may recall that video that I showed towards the end. It's about the individual customization that is starting to become a reality. So obviously that would have to be just-in-time production as well. All right, how could this be added to a new Meta Facebook revolution? As what's mentioned about the new Meta will be a real virtual world with a new opportunity. Well, I don't quite understand what this means. Well, maybe someone can help me.
I think, Doctor, the question here talks about the new Facebook company, Meta, and I think it's something very new. So maybe we don't have the answer.
I think you may have to ask someone younger than my age then.
Doctor, I would love to thank you for all this information. I know I keep you late. I feel guilty. It's 11 p.m. at your place. You're supposed to sleep and you're staying late to share the knowledge with everyone, which is really amazing. On behalf of me and everyone,
I hope you have a very successful conference. I'll send through the PDF on my presentation afterwards.
Please.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Eric. Thank you.
It's a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.